For years, top football managers around the world would spend hours in their office attempting to outsmart the opposition with a particular way of playing the game. Although tactics were predominantly 4-4-2, nevertheless, a player's position in a formation generally defines whether a player has a mostly defensive or attacking role, and whether they tend to play towards one side of the pitch or centrally. The first long-term successful formation was first recorded in 1880. Defensive football was not played, and the lineups reflected the all-attacking nature of these games. The 2-3-5 was originally known as the pyramid, with the numerical formation being referenced retrospectively. By the 1890s, it was the standard formation in England and had spread all over the world. With some variations, it was used by most top-level teams up to the 1930s. The 4-4-2 formation was the most common in football in the 1990s and early 2000s, so well known that it inspired the title of the magazine 4-4-2. In a 4-4-2, the midfielders are required to work hard to support both the defense and the attack. Typically one of the central midfielders is expected to go upfield as often as possible to support the forward pair, while the other will play a holding role, shielding the defense. The two wide midfield players must move up the flanks to the goal line in attacks and yet also protect the fullbacks. On the European level, the major example of a team using a 4-4-2 formation was Milan, trained by Arrigo Sacchi and later Fabio Capello. Sacchi won the Serie A title in his 1987-88 debut season and then dominated European football by winning back-to-back European Cups in 1989 and 1990. From 1991 to 1996, he was head coach of the Italy national team and led them to the 1994 FIFA World Cup final, only to lose to Brazil in a penalty shootout. In his first 5 seasons as a manager, Capello won 4 Serie A titles with Milan, where he also won the 1993-94 UEFA Champions League, defeating Barcelona 4-0 in a memorable final. He then spent a year at Real Madrid, where he won the La Liga title at his first attempt, and in 2001 led Roma to their first league title in 18 years. Playing 4-4-2. Under Milan's example, it became very popular in Italy in the late 1980s and early 1990s. The 4-3-3 was a development of the 4-2-4, and was played by the Brazilian national team in the 1962 World Cup. Although a 4-3-3 had also previously been used by the Uruguay national team in the 1950 and 1954 World Cups. The extra player in midfield allows a stronger defense, and the midfield could be staggered for different effects. The 3 midfielders normally play closely together to protect the defense, and move laterally across the field as a coordinated unit. The 3 forwards split across the field to spread the attack, and may be expected to mark the opposition fullbacks as opposed to doubling back to assist their own fullbacks, as do the wide midfielders in a 4-4-2. When used from the start of a game, this formation is widely regarded as encouraging expansive play, and should not be confused with the practice of modifying a 4-4-2 by bringing on an extra forward to replace a midfield player when behind in the latter stages of a game. A staggered 4-3-3 involving a defensive midfielder, usually numbered 4 or 6, and 2 attacking midfielders, numbered 8 and 10, was commonplace in Italy, Argentina, and Uruguay during the 1960s and 1970s. In club football, the team that brought this formation to the forefront was the famous Ajax team of the early 1970s, which won 3 European Cups with Johan Cruyff as the superstar of their team. Most teams using this formation now use the specialist defensive midfielder. Pep Guardiola at Barcelona, Jose Mourinho at Chelsea, and most recently Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, who have won the Champions League and Premier League in recent times deploying a holding midfielder in a 4-3-3 formation. Just a few seconds pause as I'm looking for some recognition for our content. Would you mind letting the good people at YouTube know that you like this video? A bunch of likes helps the channel grow, and if you're still watching at this stage, well, there must be something that's caught your eye. If you like it, then like it. So what are the advantages of a 4-4-2 formation? Every player knows how to play in it, and the beauty of the formation is that there are clear roles and expectations for each player. The players do not need such an in-depth understanding of how the team functions as a whole. For this reason, it is a lot easier to implement at any level of the game. With 2 strikers up front, an offensive presence, the 4-4-2 formation will always be there to fall back on for a safe and stable option for any team. The downside of the 4-4-2 is that its rigid positions can lead to a side being swamped by more flexible opponents. The obvious potential weakness is that by playing with 2 strikers you can be outnumbered in midfield. With a 4-3-3 formation, You are guaranteed an attacking outlook right from the start. By controlling the midfield and taking advantage of the flexibility that the lineup gives the team's forwards. The 4-3-3 can overwhelm, confuse, and force the opposition back towards their goal. It is a high-pressure, ball-hungry philosophy. The most effective versions of this formation employ incredibly adventurous wingbacks who bomb forward at every opportunity. The team can be dragged out of shape, with the midfielders and wide forwards having to cover the various gaps that the 4-3-3 leaves. They have to shift as a team and essentially work as one unit. This can lead to players running out of position to cover the dangerous spaces. Shifting as units in football is important, being aware of the space you leave in behind you is even more so. That wraps up our look at the 4-4-2 versus the 4-3-3 formation. I hope we've given you a quick insight into both formations. Please pop in the comments with your thoughts on this type of delivery. It's a new bit of software and we thought it would be pretty cool to test it out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content, hit the like button, and don't forget to turn on the notifications bell so you never miss an upload. If you'd like to see some more of the Versus videos, please drop your ideas in the comments as well. Catch you guys next time.